Should we buckle up and prepare for quite a journey with gold and silver coming in May? Perhaps so. We'll discuss why in this video as we explore. We've already seen quite a wild ride with gold, and one could make the argument that there has been the same for silver, just at a little bit smaller scale, with gold just recently reaching an all-time high when adjusted for inflation. There are some that believe that gold is just really going to keep going from here, and others like myself who think that we're near the top. Although, all bets could be off based off of some rumblings that I've been hearing on multiple different sources about some big players that are buying gold. But there's also been some gold moving back from the United States, which kind of hampers that speculation to some degree. However, there's been more talk about other gold that's still here that some are buying, and some speculate it could be the U.S. government. You know, there's still this idea that potentially we may see gold being bought by the Treasury with some funds somewhere in order to back up, in part, the sovereign wealth fund that's coming. But I'm going to be referencing a post over on X here in a moment, and that really raises my eyebrows as to what could be coming next month. We know there's delivery months, by the way, with the Commitment of Traders report, and we have all these things that stand ready for delivery. Well, apparently they expire sort of at the end of the month. But you know what? Volatility is going to be here, and we really don't know what the future is going to hold with the precious metal markets. We've been disappointed. People have made these wild predictions. I tend to try to bring balance in that area on this channel. Nonetheless, we continue to buy, and we look over the long term. That's where my friends at Summit Metals comes in. They have really good prices. They have excellent customer service. So check them out at summitmetals.com. At least a shop compare with them and see if they are right for you. So Bob Coleman over at X has some pretty interesting posts. You know, a lot of times he'll post some things and let you decide exactly what it means. And I think this is kind of what this post is kind of saying here too. But read into it what you will, and I'll let you interpret some of this language down in the comment section below, because I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts are about this, because I'm not as closely tied into reading the Commitment of Traders reports, and where there's so much there that can be interpreted so many different ways, especially since, you know, where all these big banks are involved in it. But we look at what's happening here with the commodities and with these numbers. It's you can misinterpret these numbers just as easily because of how, I guess, complex or how they're tied in and what they actually mean behind them. So I don't really like to speculate in that area and get in too much of a deep dive in that with that regards. But he has been hearing of big players buying gold on the London afternoon fix for the course of this week. Silver, and that is something that with these big buyers coming into play all the way through the London fix, you know, that tells us something. What's happening here? Now, he's been hearing of it. Doesn't mean that it has been confirmed. But still, he's got much wider inside track than I do, that's for sure. But I've been hearing much of the same thing from some of you in the comments and the likes. But also, silver is going into May delivery month, and open interest is starting to move higher, with the potential for some real fireworks in the short term. Now, what do those fireworks mean? Well, usually those fireworks essentially involve elevation, right? And it's very rarely that you see fireworks launched down into an abyss, right? And that's for sure. So I think he's saying that we could see some higher prices, some volatility in the silver market, especially with the shorts here, and which means we could see it some very exciting days, maybe some of the most exciting days we've seen in quite a number of years for the month of May for this lovely metal that you see here. By the way, this is the most recent silver piece I got. Anything from the Royal Mint that doesn't have a milk spot, I can claim victory on. And that's one piece I got about $1 above spot that I did be able to make that purchase and add it to my stack, which may turn out to be a very good deal if this holds true. going into May delivery month with open interest is starting to move. So, again, potential means it may or may not happen, but based off what he's seeing, and it very well could be that we may see that volatility. Now, he's saying for the short term. In other words, sooner or later, for things like this, just as we're seeing in the stock market and precious metal prices with all the tariff talk, well, there's going to be some leveling out and new normalization. But one thing I've been saying, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video, which is quite important shift for me in terms of my analysis on silver, is I'm shifting now from anything above $30 an ounce for silver is a victory. It's been above $30 an ounce long enough that I think that is passé. Now we can talk about $33 an ounce. And the more days that we see $33 an ounce, the better we're going to be, because that's going to start to solidify potentially, and not yet, by the way. I'm not claiming victory yet. I'm just saying that's the new number that we can claim victory on silver. Baby steps, remember, baby steps for silver. And so we see it stay above $33 for long enough. I think we can feel comfortable that it likely won't go back below that price, at least for any measurable amount of time. Notwithstanding, he is saying here that it's going to be a wild, volatile month. Fireworks, though they do go, they do go vertically for the most part. Some of those launching devices can tip over and shoot fireworks at people and cause havoc. That's a bummer. That's a downer. And so I think in a sense, in some way, he's backhandedly telling us perhaps that silver's price could go down as well as part of that volatile change, which could break through the resistance, the floor, the support levels of 33, and maybe even test $30 again as we see it move back up here. Now, May also is leading into the summer doldrums. Never underestimate the summer doldrums, right? Although we have seen some pretty exciting times during the summer, no question about that. We saw that back in the summer of 2020. He says here that silver has just retraced the entire drop from April the 3rd, so we're sitting pretty with silver right now. If you look at it compared to itself and its past performance, and as we have seen in the previous year or so, and even beyond, silver's done well if you don't compare it to gold. And I'm thinking more and more we should look at silver on its own, how it performs, and be satisfied with where it is. When silver went up to $50 an ounce for a minute back in April of 2011 or January of 1980, well, it was just that. It was an anomaly both those times. Didn't stay there very long at all. But people always use those measures to say, this is where silver should be. No, it's not where silver should be. It shouldn't have been there then. That's really the bottom line. And the actual market decides what silver is going to do. And I know I've probably angered some folks by saying that. But notwithstanding, I do feel silver is undervalued. I just don't think it's as undervalued as others feel that it is. The natural market always works itself out, even with suppression, even if you feel that suppression is the major and the only reason why silver's price is down. Well, if it's been working this long, what's going to stop it from working in the future? And by the way, I think what Bob Coleman is saying here is indeed indicative of natural market forces, but some could attribute to some of it to suppression taking advantage during delivery months and the like. But anyways, he finishes out by saying if one is short either metal, their stop is not much higher from here. So in other words, I guess you better go ahead and do your shorts quickly, and time is running out because it's going to come back. And I guess people, and I don't understand how this works, but apparently if you short on the metal and it ends up breaking past that, I think you have to pay or something. I'm not sure. I never mess around with any of that stuff. Who knows? But so there's some risk involved in shorting the precious metals market, from what I understand, either metal. But one thing is for sure: no matter what silver does, no matter what gold does, I'm going to at least hold on to what I've got, and any opportunities I can to make a purchase, I'm going to capitalize on that and make moves in that direction, because I'm still in an active stacking stage. Just have to be a little bit more strategic about it. And if I am feeling that gold is near the top, that means I have to sit well with the position and the possibility that gold could drop even dramatically after I make a purchase if it climbs up even more. There's one particular piece I'm looking for that is not available yet that I want to get, and it's a sort of a collector piece, but it is more bullion. It's just not available yet, and I'm frustrated because they won't put it on pre-sale as during that last dip. So I've got to wait it out, and who knows what's going to happen when it becomes available. Supposedly by the end of May is when it's going to been pushed back now. So by that time, it may be out of my range, just as was the case with another series that I'm trying to finish up that I've now gotten somewhat confirmation is going to be there from the Spanish Royal Mint. Who knows what that gold coin's going to cost for me to finish and complete that collection. First world problems. Nonetheless, there it is. Let me know what your thoughts are about gold and silver and the month of May. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.